Back to hardball. A coalition of liberal activists is gearing up to target conservative and moderate Democrats in the Congress who could block President Obama's big budget fight. Roger Hickey's coordinator, actually director of one of these groups, the Campaign for America's Future. Roger, this is hardball. You guys now believe there are some Democrats out there, Evan Bayh, Michael Bennet, Blanche Lincoln, U.S. senators on the Democratic side, among those three, who might be off base during this big fight over the budget for the president. They're not going to be with him. Is that what you think?
Well, some of them have raised questions about whether they're going to be with the president or not. And so we have a secret weapon that we're rolling out, and that's democracy in their states and districts. We don't have a lot of money that we're going to spend.
How much you got?
We don't have money.
How much you got?
We've bought in 5 districts around the country, very small buys.
How much?
It's not about money.
How much money do you guys have to wage this campaign?
$100,000. It's
total,
nothing.
Total.
I'm talking about democracy. People in their districts and states talking to them about.
Do you have access to the Obama list of people who supported Obama?
No, this is not.
You don't have access to that list.
This is an independent effort.
Okay, so how do you activate people who are pro-Obama to scare these Democrats into supporting his program?
Chris, do you remember when many Democrats were not willing to stand up for Social Security? They thought it was going to pass under George Bush. We're the groups that taught the Democrats how to fight on Social Security. We're the groups that said it was okay to be against the war. And gradually the Democratic Party came around, even the more conservative ones. So that's what we're doing. We're using democracy, calling, knocking on doors, emailing. We're using the internet and the bloggers to send a message to members of Congress.
Name some names. Who do you want to scare?
Well, you know, we've got ads going. U.S. Action is running ads in Marion Barry's district and Chet Edwards' district.
That's in Arkansas.
In Texas, Alan Boyd and Bob Etheridge, who had some ads running in their district, just came out and said that they're strongly in support
with the president.
With the president.
Very good. Are you going to encourage or discourage the president from betting that he has to succeed, has to have one big vote like Reagan did and like other presidents, George W. In other words, put it all in one filibuster-proof measure that can go before the United States, no BS here, passes with a majority. In fact, with 50 votes plus Biden's, the vice president's vote. Are you going to encourage him to go that route or to sit around and mess around with this stuff for a couple of years and never get anything passed? I mean, I'm loading this question.
Now is the year.
Because I think there's only one. Thank you.
Now is the year.
So you're basically, your groups, generally your mindset is,
and we're talking
win while he's still popular.
We're talking about things that are popular. Energy, healthcare, education. These are things that the American people know will help the economy. So
put it on the line. This is the Green Party. This is the Democratic Party. They're green. They're for health care and they're for higher education.
A 51% vote is what democracy means in the U.S. Senate.
Why don't you start teaching that around Capitol Hill? That would be a great education. You know, Chris Rock once said during the primaries, how come we never heard of superdelegates till the front runner was African American? Yeah. That was a wise guy comment, but everybody knew what it meant. How come we have to have electoral votes? Why can't we just have popular vote? How come we have the Supreme Court? Every time we think the majority is going to rule in this country, there seems to be an impediment, whether it's the Supreme Court, it's the Electoral College, it's superdelegates, and now it's you got to get 60 senators. How come we can't have democracy?
Chris, I think most Americans think 50%, 51% is the way you win. That's the way.
That's the only way you get anything done.
That's the way you do it if you use the budget process, and people support what Obama is trying to do. So we're telling them, we're telling senators, get ready to vote 50.
Okay. Let me play devil's advocate, although I don't want to be devil's advocate here. I will. Aren't there truly people who identify themselves as moderate to conservative Democrats, and without them in the party coalition, you'd never get a majority? Aren't those people entitled to their yes, but attitude about certain things? Like Evan Bayh, who says yes, but he apparently doesn't want cap and trade on this. He doesn't want the energy piece in this.
Chris, there's no doubt there's going to be some compromise, some give and take. The question is whether Democrats are going to prevent this president from being successful. That's the question. And we're being very sincere with these guys. We're talking to them. Many Blue Dogs, for example, are strongly in support of the president and his budget, because they know back in their districts people are losing their jobs, they're losing their health care, they need stimulus. And I kind of view this as the second stimulus, the budget that's being passed. So it's a very popular thing to be talking about in places like Indiana.
The president tonight's going on national television. He's going to reach 20, 30, who knows how many millions of people are watching him at 8 o'clock tonight in the East Coast and across the country. It'll be repeated and talked about all night. Do you think he can stir the country enough that those recalcitrant Democrats, those skittish Democrats, will get back on base?
I think this game is still wide open, and the president is a very powerful speaker, and he got elected with a mandate. a mandate to move the
What do you
country
do
forward.
for a living? Is this something you do for a living, this group called
I run the Campaign for America's Future.
and
Yes.
you're here in Washington.
That's right.
And how do you raise money? I'm just asking, I'm like Brian Lamb here, where do you go to high school? Because a lot of people want to know where this money comes from. You say you got $100,000 to splash around and scare these Democrats back into line again, right? I understand what you're doing.
Yeah,
but where do you get the money from?
But Chris, the key is not money.
But where do you get the $100K from?
Normal sources, foundations, individuals.
Name your big supporters.
It's a whole lot of little supporters is really what it is. We're like MoveOn.org. We get our money from average small donations. So our job is not to weigh in like the lobbyists do in the big money game. Our job is to activate democracy and make it work, and to get people out in the districts to tell the candidates and their members of Congress, people are going to have to meet the
so I've got
voters.
you on record. Big casino, go for it, right? You want him to go for it.
Go for it right now, this year.
Thank you, Roger Hickey. Very straightforward. I heard you were a quiet guy. You're not a quiet guy. Up next, the Hardball Award goes to a member of the United States Congress who fought